What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the trades we end up taking today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So when it came to today, this is what we looked like off open. You guys know from yesterday that the market was trending bearish here on the 30-minute. So we ended up getting this pullback into close yesterday, and then, or this was off the open actually. We ended up pulling back a little bit into the close. Told you guys we took some calls yesterday because of this 4-hour 50, and we were able to capitalize on that. So right off the open, this is the trade that I actually missed, because if you guys trade on prop firms or on Trade the trade rate was down, so we actually weren't able to take anything right off open, and we ended up missing out on such a good trade. And you guys know we were still in short the rip mode. So if we go to the ES fibs right here, look at this fib off of open right up in here, 69.51. You could see right at what, 9:30, we ended up popping up into this fib, and it was a perfect reject here off of open. And look at the move it gave today, 69.51 all the way down to 69.52. Fat move, and unfortunately we weren't able to catch it because trade rate was down, so wasn't able to take anything on futures. And we did get this retest right up in here. I'm not sure, I think was trade rate still down at this time? I don't even know, to be honest. But I didn't play the second test of it because we already got this test of it in like pre-market, which I don't have on here. But if we had the pre-market on, we actually got a test of it in pre-market, and then right at 9:30 we actually dropped quite a bit on NQ. There was a big difference between ES and NQ. Again, like if we look at NQ real quick, NQH here, you can see the difference. So if we go to 9:30, which was where right off open here, you can see massive difference in the strength. Like you can tell NQ was a lot weaker, and this is the pair that I've been shorting. It's the one you want to be shorting. ES is the one you want to be longing. But yeah, I mean, you can see how weak it was, and if you took the short right off of open, obviously you would have been paid. I mean, it never came back up to your entry point, and I mean, we got this little pop up here, but that wasn't really much. We hit the level pre-market, which you could have shorted, and that dropped instantly, like almost 200 points. So unfortunately we weren't able to take that, and like I said, we got that retest of it. I personally sat out because we already got like such an aggressive dump from the level, and just like putting the higher time frames into context here, I just didn't take the retest of the fib the second time. So I sat out of that trade because like going into today, it's kind of hard. It's a little bit hard to be like extremely bearish because we have those higher time frame 50 SMAs here. So if we look on this is the wrong chart. If we look on the put side here, we have this 2-hour 50 that we keep rejecting, and we have this 4-hour 50 that we keep rejecting. It's sold down aggressively, and we've tested this yesterday a little bit. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, we hit it like once almost, and today we hit it again, and then we hit it again in the like next 4-hour candle. So we've already gotten multiple tests of this at the moment. Going into tomorrow, if we do open red, I mean, there's a chance we could really drop if we do break this 4-hour 50. It doesn't happen that often. Like a lot of the times, it's going to mark the bottom. But when we start to test it multiple times, then that's kind of where you want to get cautious at that 4-hour. Like if we go up and hit the 50 again tomorrow, I would not expect it to hold. If we come up, test it again tomorrow in the next 4-hour candle, I would expect it to break. So tomorrow's going to be interesting to see kind of how we open and how it goes. Because we also closed at a very key spot on the 30-minute, which is at 50. If we break below and cross negative, okay, we're going to see a move higher, and we're going to see a rip. And I'm kind of all over the place with this video at the moment, but that was a trade we missed out on. I ended up taking another like I took 2 trades. So first one was a trade that I normally don't take, but since the 30-minute was holding the 50, we were crossing negative here on the calls, which I actually tried taking, but this was a quick break-even trade. So we were starting to cross negative here on this candle at 10:35, so I went short at 10:35 right at the open, and we initially had a solid. I think I was up like 50 points at one point, and then we had a weird, I think there was some sort of news candle that came out, and it shot right back up to my entry, and I just got out. I just didn't like how that was moving, so I got out, and that was that. So that was pretty much a break-even trade. And then I took another short at 11:50, and that was pretty much playing this cross here on the puts. So if we go to the puts now, I tried playing this 5-minute cross here off of this initial move here. So at, let's see, what time did we go short? 11:50. So that was a terrible fill on my part. Again, we were probably up like 30 points at one point because the 50 did start to curl. I know I have the screenshot somewhere I posted in the Discord where that 50 started to turn. It was valid entry, but the candle started to pull back, and I ended up cutting it for like 10 points on NQ. So really wasn't much of a loss. So this is what the screen looked like when I was looking at it, because when you look back at that chart, it looks like it has sloped down all the way, but you know, seeing it in real time is a little bit different. So you can see 10 SMA crossed the 50 was starting to curl. This is where I got in, and yeah, I ended up getting stopped out of this for 10 points because this candle started to pull us back, and when we pulled back, that 50 kind of pulled down with it. So I ended up getting out of that for 10 points. Again, minor loss there. And that's all I did today when it came to like futures. I did try some SPY calls actually, which I ended up cutting at break even. Unfortunately, it did end up playing out in my favor. Again, it was literally just off of this 4-hour 50 on the put side here. On the 4-hour chart, this massive resistance, I grabbed some puts at, or not puts, some calls on SPY for the 20th, and then also we hit this fib level down in here. So that was good, you know, trade to, or like good pair with that trade. The fib level plus the 4-hour, literally the same exact thing as yesterday. But I did end up cutting this when it pulled back. Probably shouldn't have done that. I should have waited for at least like a closure below, but I was playing it safe. I mean, I was up 10%, nothing much, and then it pulled back, and I just got out at break even because the 4-hour chart was just kind of sketching me out with how it was looking, because we had a few candles test it. So I'm like, okay, you know, this comes back to my entry, I'll just get out because there is a chance we do break and go lower, because if you remember from yesterday, this lower fib level here, this is only the second fib of the day, because we ended up opening below this fib up in here, and we broke through one and we hit the second one. So, you know, typically buying the dip against the trend is, you know, going to be that third fib level for the day, which, you know, that's kind of was in the back of my mind. Maybe we do drop and break that 4-hour 50 and go to that lower fib. That could still happen, honestly, going into tomorrow, that we could hit that, you know, next fib lower. I don't know why I just went to the daily, but yeah, that's kind of my thought process when I was in those calls. But yeah, I mean, no harm done, and just left some gains on the table. But that was pretty much the day. It was very unfortunate because of trade evade being down off of open. It just screwed us out of a really good trade. So yeah, that's how today went. You know, it was a very like sloppy day on my part, like break even trade there, 10-point loss. I mean, I'm not complaining because, you know, I'm glad like we're not taking massive losses of like 50 points. I mean, they're very, very small. It was break even trade, or actually 2 break even trades, and then a like 10-point loss on NQ. So very minimal loss. But going into tomorrow, again, we close at this key spot here on the 30-minute on the put side. So, you know, I'm not really sure what to think. Like, if we end up, you know, holding this 50, we could really see a massive drop, because at this point, you know, we've already tested this 2-hour 50 multiple times. We already tested this 4-hour multiple times. So if we come up again and, you know, have another candle pop up in these areas, I would imagine it will break. So really, it's very important to see how we open tomorrow. That's pretty much going to be what determines like where we go from here, because, you know, if we hold the 50 and go and break lower, okay, we're going to break those higher time frame 50s and possibly see a massive move lower. If we open green and this chart goes negative, then bottom's probably going to be temporarily in, because you know, 30 minutes crossing negative, we hit that 4-hour 50, most likely we'll see a solid relief bounce from there, and that's when we end up well, technically no, because we don't change the fibs yet, but what we want to see to change the fibs, like if we cross negative tomorrow, you have to see where, you know, what fibs we are between when we cross negative. Ignore the 50% mark, that's not relevant. This is just for, you know, take profit purposes. But what 2 fibs are we between when we cross negative? So if we open nice and green tomorrow, we're most likely going to be at maybe the 69.01 to the 69.51. If we open really green, then we'll be between 69.51 and 69.81. So pretty much wherever we cross negative, where that 10 crosses below the 50, that's the current range we're in. So what that means is, okay, if we open below, or if we open above 69.51 tomorrow and we cross negative between these 2 fibs, this is the range we're playing. So what we want to see is if we break above 69.81, okay, we've now changed the fibs, because That confirms we broke out of the range to the upside. And then our new pivot low, which means the 100% mark at this fib is going to be actually put at this high, and then the 0% gets put at this new low. So whenever we end up changing the fibs, when we go from one trend to breaking out to the other side, that's where we flip the 0% and the 100% level. Whenever we're shorting the rips or buying the dips, the 100% level is always going to be at the like far side of whatever trend we're in. Like if we're in buying the dip mode, 100% is going to be at the top. If we're in shorting the rip mode, 0% is going to be at the bottom. So hopefully that makes sense. That's how you go about getting the new fibs. I think I said it in the last video on how to get them, but I'll be sure to kind of go over that whenever we are in that scenario of possibly losing the trend. And I'm gonna help you guys figure out the fib levels if you don't understand it, because I know it's probably confusing at first, but trust me, these fib levels work great. They just give you insane risk to reward trades where you can hit like a 50-point trade and only risk or 50 point trade and only risk like 10 points. So yeah, that's pretty much how the day went in the game plan going against tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join Discord down below. It's where I'm at literally all day, and it's where I share all my trades. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.